Yellow Vest protesters have once again turned out to demonstrate in Paris, but in much smaller numbers than on the last few Saturdays. The combination of concessions made by the government, protester fatigue and cold weather have taken much of the energy out of the movement. A few dozen demonstrators were arrested and police did use tear gas, but there was a little of the violence seen in recent weeks. Elena Casas reports.
Police, government officials and the president had urged them not to march, saying that after 5 weeks of sometimes violent demonstrations, the Yellow Vests had made their point.
I think that the country needs calm now. It needs order. It needs to start functioning normally again.
Just a few thousand people defied that call to march in central Paris. Some threw projectiles at police, who responded with tear gas, but most were peaceful. Fewer protesters braved the cold on Saturday, but the weeks of demonstrations have put President Macron on notice. He had an ambitious list of reforms planned for the new year, many of which may not now see the light of day. The president was first forced into a U-turn on the fuel tax that triggered the protests, and then into significant concessions, including a rise in the minimum wage and cutting taxes on low-income pensioners.
I think the choices I've made respond to a legitimate anger, so we're helping people and speeding up tax cuts so that work pays better in this country.
For some Yellow Vests, the president's change in tone is already a victory, and a poll this week showed only half of the French still sympathise with the protests, compared to 2/3 a week ago. But others worry he won't stick to those promises.
This fifth weekend is to insist that the measures announced are applied, because I think they'll increase the deficit and Macron might try to do another U-turn.
Others are determined to keep marching, saying they want deeper political change, including putting government policies to the people in frequent referendums and cutting politicians' wages. The Yellow Vests movement seems to be losing steam as France winds down for the Christmas holiday, but it could be a long winter for President Macron, who goes into the new year with his authority weakened and his policy agenda in doubt. Elena Casas, CGTN, Paris.